What were some highlights from the World Cup in Spain this summer?
Highlights?
Highlights.
Playing against JV. Yeah, nah, but just going out there playing with 11 other great players that I normally compete against and go against and talk trash to all season. Just go out there and come together for one common goal, and that's to win a gold medal representing our country. That was a highlight.
How did that experience help stretch you as a player and help you grow as a player?
I tell you what it puts you in an uncomfortable position that you're normally not used to, and you have to learn ways and figuring out how you could still play at a high level, and that's what it did for me, and helped me understand, how to be a better player, and helped me understand, every single guy who's on that bench from the 14th player to the 15th player, and understand how to cope with them, make my teammates better, honestly, and that's one thing that I definitely learned.
You played in the Drew League for a couple of summers now, but this summer you had Terrence Ross join you. What was it like having him as a teammate in the Drew League?
It was cool. He always told me he wanted to come out there and play. He kept begging me. So, we was in LA, and I told him come. We would out there have fun, play. He missed about 5 dunks, but he wanted to play in it. So
there are heightened expectations for this team this year. Is that something that you embrace?
I really don't pay no mind to it. I never really paid no mind to it. I just go out there and try to do my job, honestly. And I think every single guy in here do that as well. You really can't pay too much attention to the expectation because anything can happen. Your job is to go out there and do what you got to do day by day.
Does this feel any different than past media days and past training camps?
Hell yeah. Yes. Yes, it do. But just the energy, just the positivity of everything, and not the what ifs and so much. But it definitely do feel different.
How much do you think it helps bringing back the core and having
It means everything, especially for me personally, because I never really had a consistent group of guys that I could play with, and the chemistry that we had last year that we built between every single guy was amazing. So just to have that back and the type of quality of guys that we had on the team back, it means a lot.
Last year you were an All-Star. You tried for the playoffs the first time in a bunch of seasons, the World Cup this summer. Yet some media, like ESPN, I don't give you a good ranking. Does that put a little chip on your shoulder, maybe?
Yeah, but that's fine with me. I like having a chip on my shoulder. It gives me another reason to, work hard, or whatever it may be. It gives me another reason. So I feel like they're doing me a favor, honestly. So, but it is what it is. That's their job.
DeMar, do you feel that this team gets the respect around the league that perhaps it deserves?
Probably not from the media, but I feel like from our peers we do. Just me being around the other elite players in our league, and them mention coming to Toronto last year, having to play us, and losing to us or whatever. Just to hear that, and it definitely means a lot to me. A lot of people probably don't get a chance to hear, but me being around all them type of players, and they're like, damn, we got to play y'all this. That means a lot, because, I remember days when people used to come in here and feel like, it was a cakewalk. So.
DeMar, the fans were right there behind every step of the way with you last season. What are you going to do to sort of bring back that experience again this season?
Oh, man, I think they bring it out of us about just showing up and, showing the passion that they have for us. I think, and we do pay attention to it. We feel it every time we out in the city, and just to have that type of support from our fans, we understand we have to show up every single night for our fans, so we can give them that same passion back.
There are a lot of people talking about your own development and how much better you are. Do you feel more confident coming in this year?
Yeah, I worked on my game extremely a lot this year. Even when I was over in Spain, I had my trainer in Spain. I worked out every single day. Worked out mornings before the game and played in the game at night. I just really was pushing myself, and just to be able to play at a high level and have my in-game playing shape and playing rhythm, meant a lot.
How might your game be different this season, you think?
More comfortable with everything I do. Everything, from posting up to creating off the dribble to just getting more comfortable and making more move. Just everything, my whole overall game.
How much? Kyle said he didn't think about it a lot, but the last 20, 30 seconds of that game against Brooklyn, how often do you think about that?
I think about it all the time, because we gonna need that to feed off it, honestly, and understand how bad that hurt, that feeling of losing Game 7, coming so close, losing by 1 point. And, you know, we got to carry that in starting tomorrow for training camp and have that hunger and that edge to, you know, do the same thing all over again this year.
What was it like to watch the second round when you felt like you should have been?
I didn't watch it. You know, I don't think I didn't watch it. But I probably watched the first game. Then, you know, I couldn't even watch no more, honestly, because I knew we could have been there, and it sucks. I'm in LA and, you know, then Miami playing against the team we should have been playing against.
Do you remember, I mean, Chuck said there were texts going back and forth from the guys of the team about how irritated you were that you weren't playing. Like, do you remember what that time was like?
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. That whole, I couldn't wait for them to lose, honestly, just so I could feel better about myself. But, yeah, you know, I just, you know, but it was tough just to watch because, you know, I felt like, you know, we could have gave Miami a better run for their money, and, you know, whatever. You have all them questions in your head, and, you know, just to know you're not there, I'm sitting at home, you know, definitely was frustrating.
You got to work with Terrence a bit this summer. What can you say about what you've seen from him?
Oh yeah, that's normally I always try to work out by myself, but this as soon as we started working out at the beginning of the summer, I wanted to be with Terrence a lot and really push him and push him to another level so he could really see how hard I work and show him what it takes to be at that next level. And even when we was in the Philippines, you know, going over there and working out, I'm telling him, you know, you got to be consistent with it. It don't stop, and, you know, just pushing him and seeing how far he came this summer, you know, makes me feel like a proud big brother, so to speak. But, you know, because I understand how good Terrence is and what he could do for us.
Did he keep up?
Nah, he couldn't keep up, but he was close though.
As the leader of the team, I mean, seeing him over the summer and seeing JV in Spain, like, what are your personal expectations of them this season?
Oh man, it's going to be high, and, you know, my job now, and I think I have that right now, is to make sure they bring every single night. You know, push them. That you can't get tired, you can't get fatigued, you can't make excuses, you can't do none of this no more. You know what I mean? So you're not young no more. Y'all been in the league. Y'all played at a high level. Y'all, you know what I mean? So it's no more excuses, and it's just for me to bring the potential that I know that they have out of them.
Was that one of the biggest things, like, when you were younger, for you to learn just about consistency and that kind of thing?
Kind of, but I kind of didn't really have that problem because I always had a reason to want to work much harder, and I always looked at, you know, the people, you know, the critics and all that. That's one thing that always pushed me. So I never really had to have a reason to not be, you know, consistent in working out or wanting to get better.
What's harder, going from 35 wins to 48 wins, or going from 48 to 52 or 53?
I don't know. This is my first time winning 48 wins, so asking me that question next year, I have a better answer for you. But you know, I think it's going to be tougher this time around. But, you know, like I said, this group of guys, we deal better under adversity. You know, we really feed when adversity comes, and we don't shy away from it. So I think that it'll be helpful for us this year.
What's the difference between what you guys did last year, a 48-win team, when you look around the league and look at a 55-win team? What's the difference between
we lost a lot. You could count. I'm pretty sure y'all got a statistic or somewhere of all the close games that we lost by 3 or less points, or games we gave away in the last minute. You know, it easily could be 10 to 15 games that we couldn't figure out how to close. You know, that's the next step for us, really understanding how to close out games like the great teams in the league do. You know, understanding how to execute the last 2 minutes, protecting the ball, getting a stop when we need to. You know, little things like that we struggled with last year, and we got to clean up this time around.
DeMar, does it matter what you guys do in the regular season as much as it matters what you do in this playoffs this year, assuming you get there?
Yeah, I think it matters because it carries over in the playoffs. You know, you had that confidence, understanding you could beat whatever team you play in the playoffs if you have a great season. You know, I think you need that confidence, that mindset going into the playoffs, understanding you were a top team in the Eastern Conference, and going into the playoffs, you feeling like you could beat anybody you play against.
But in the sense that another first-round loss is not going to be satisfactory for anybody, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. You know, that's not our goal, just to, you know, win 40 games and make the, you know what I mean, not at all. You know, we got to build on everything we did last year and keep moving up.
You told us at the end of last season that you were not worried about Kyle coming back. The night that he signed, how did you find out that he was going to be back? I think you were like flying to China or something.
I know I called him on the phone. I was on a plane going to the Philippines.
Yeah.
And I spent $45 talking to him on the phone. Where was I? He called me and said, because he told me first before he was going to tell everybody. And I was like, all right, but I forgot where I was. But I remember him calling me saying, yeah, I'm coming back, blah, blah, blah. Don't say nothing yet. I'm about to call. We about to do everything. I was like, all right. But I never was worried. You know, I never gave him a sales pitch throughout the whole time either, because I was just trying to be there for him, honestly, as a friend. Like I was just going to support him, honestly. I knew he had enough pressure on him. So, you know, my whole sales pitch was all last season. The things me and him did together spoke for itself, so I didn't have to say anything but be there for him as a friend. So I think he respected that too, because not once I told him, man, you need to come back. We can do this, we can do that. Like, I never pressured him at all. That's why I said I wasn't worried, because there's not too many other two guards he could go play with and do what he did last year. And, you know, I understood that. I knew he understood that as well.
That phone call worth the money?
Hell no, I need my $45. I'm going to tell him too.
As a team, do you guys have to change your approach this year now that you do have a target on your back, division?
I mean, yeah, and we got to understand that we can't go out there feeling like, you know, we're just a great team. We still got to go out there with that chip on our shoulders, understand, you know, team's still going to go at us, and we got to be prepared for that and not take that lightly and feel like, you know, we could get down 16 and make a comeback. Like, we can't do none of that. We can't do that no more.
Is it harder to have that chip on your shoulder now that teams presumably will see you coming and you're not going to sneak up on anyone this year?
Nah, I don't think so. You know, I think, you know, starting tomorrow, once training camp starts, and, you know, we understand how hard we going to work, we're going to have to take that same approach beginning at every single game. You know, 4 quarters. You know, last year we always played 3 quarters or 2.5. You know, we got to be able to put 4 quarters together. Once we understand that, we shouldn't have that problem.
How do you think Lou and James coming helps you guys?
It helps a lot. You know, it helps a lot. You know, last year we struggled a lot with, you know, bench scoring, and with a guy with Lou Will, definitely helps that by far, the things that he's able to do. And James, the versatility that he have, the quickness he have, how big he is, to be able to guard the LeBrons, the Joe Johnsons, the Paul Pierce, even some fours, honestly. And, you know, that's going to help us a lot and change the dynamic of the game to where, you know, we kind of struggle instead of having a mirror guard, the Paul Pierces, and guarding, you know, guards that he's not conventionally, like, he's not used to guarding. So, you know, he definitely going to help us a lot.
When a team can, you guys made the playoffs obviously last year for the first time in a lot of your careers. When a team can game plan against you, 7 times in 2 weeks, sometimes it can expose weaknesses. Was there anything from the Brooklyn series that you took and thought, okay, I learned this about my game, and now I want to work on this in the summer? Anything specific from that series that it taught you?
Every single game is different. You know, every single game is different. You know, they're going to play you a different way. They're going to scheme with you a different way. You know, you just got to be able to make adjustments on the fly and understand that. It's kind of like Floyd Mayweather in boxing, you know, and he adjusted his type of fighters, and, you know, that's all it was for me, just figuring out other ways I could score. You know, they're going to take away this counter, be comfortable doing something else, you know. So that's a tough thing about it. You just got to get used to doing something different every single game.
The U.S. national team, did you do a lot of learning or teaching?
A little bit of both. And, you know, just to come together with all the, you know, players like Kyrie, Steph, and, you know, you ask them how they do this move, and they asking you the same thing. And, you know, you kind of take some and give some from each person there. And, you know, I think it's great. And, you know, even during the games, you'll pull somebody to the side, you should do this, try this, blah, 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 and vice versa. So I think it equaled out. Kyrie, I asked Kyrie a lot of questions of a lot of things he do with finishing at the rim, getting to the basket, you know, how creative he is off the dribble, and, you know, just stealing some things from him. So. Me? Man, I was trying, and I mean, it's tough. That's what makes him a great player. But you know, he was trying to steal a lot of my counter moves I do in the post, and it's gonna be tough for him. He don't post up like that. So you know, just something that I was curious about, and was asking him, and he was showing me a lot of things. So it was kind of interesting.
How is it different playing with that many kind of great players on the court at once, in terms of what you do and how you see the game?
It makes everything easier, honestly, because you know if you're in a bad situation, you would pass it to a player like Steph Curry. You don't have to worry about nothing. Or pass it to a player like James Harden, or just throw the ball up to Andre Drummond. You know, you don't feel no type of, I hope he make the shot, or I hope the ball gets to him. You know, you don't have that. And you know, whoever has the ball in their hands, they're going to make something happen.
You had Coach K, Coach Boeheim, and Coach Thibodeau. With those guys, are they only kind of coaching you in relation to the World Cup, or can you pull those guys aside and really
I'll pull them
talk
aside.
to you about even your NBA game?
Yeah, you talk to him, and I told Thibodeau, you know, I love playing the Chicago Bulls because he gonna scheme against me and make sure I get the ball out of his hands, and I always play great against the Bulls because of that reason. But you know, just picking the coach's mind, just wondering why they do certain things, and with the, you know, just trying to figure them out at the same time. So you know, you definitely can. You know, I think the relationships we have with all the coaches, it went beyond just the World Cup.